Hello and happy today, you folks. I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing day today, one of the best you've ever had in your entire life. For you folks, and so today, for the time they like to dedicate to Cthulhu Mythos around the October holidays and Halloween and that sort of everything too. We're knocking out a short story. It's a longer short story, probably more of a novella. It's like 50. It's more than 50 pages long. It's by Brian Lumley. It's in this collection from 2009. It's called Haggopian and Other Stories. It's by Solaris. I'll link it to in the description below in case you're interested in checking it out. Right, and that sort of a thing too. But basically, what's happening here is that I had read a few. Brian Lumley grew up as a fan of the Cthulhu Mythos. It's sort of majority. And that sort of thing too, and so he'll actually write for a few decades some short stories that are in and that sort of a thing too, and then he would write some novels that were in the Necroscope series, right? And that sort of thing wasn't in Cthulhu Mythos. He's got tons of fans from both of those. He's very prolific too. I read a few short collections in the 90s. I became a fan of Lovecraft in college, my junior year in college, which was 96, roughly, and that sort of thing too. Actually, I was born in 76, so I would have been 20 then, right, and that sort of a thing too. And then right after that had happened, I followed him. I followed Lovecraft. Who was a creator of the Cthulhu Mythos in the pulp era, and that's a shared universe that includes a lot of things to keep you sort of interested in guessing of a cosmic horse, typically. And I read a 3-volume collection of his, and I loved him, and that sort of thing too. And I actually followed that to his co-writes and ghostwrites and that sort of thing too, like The Mound or The Diary of Alonzo Typer. And then after that, I went ahead and read all the Cthulhu Mythos stuff. I read a few of Brian Lumley stuff, not that much. That would be fun for me now. And this book is actually like $8, and it's like very, very large. It's got hundreds of pages. So I think it's a good idea too. So basically, he's writing this short story in the 80s, although it takes a while for it to actually get published. A few years later, and this is published in a collection in the early 90s called The Shadows Over Innsmouth, which has an S at it, which is all about collections of the short story that are based on The Shadow Over Innsmouth by Lovecraft. And back in the Lovecraft era, he would regularly bring in other things from other authors and change them up, and then encourage them to do the same. That's sort of what's kept this stuff alive, right? And that sort of thing too. So basically, this is in that Dagon's about, and so basically, Dagon is one of the big bats in this world, and that sort of thing too. And in this interpretation of that by Lumley, he is actually another name for Cthulhu, right? So basically, what's happening here is we're finding out early on that, and this is a longer short story, a lot more than 50 pages. I had set aside about 2 hours for me to read it, but actually on Sunday night, but actually it took me a little longer for me, and right, and it was fun. I liked it. So basically, what's happening here in Dagon's Bell is that we have some folks. We have 2 people. Our primary protagonists, our good friends, go back very, very strong. We have very strong, very, very passionate love friendships because they are very different from other folks, and that sort of thing too, and have different sort of feelings and different sort of concepts, right, and that sort of thing too. So they really have to challenge themselves. One of them, the smarter and nice and nicer and friendly guy too. He actually, now they're in like the 30s, are making money, and that sort of a thing too. But our primary protagonist has owned some coastal area where there are some coal that they're bringing in from the coast, right, that they're collecting. And so he actually goes down there and hears from one of his men that there's a bunch of kelp that's there that they call deep kelp, which is not normal kelp, and that sort of thing too. And his friend's there with him too, and he checks it out. He's like, this doesn't really seem like anything I've seen before. And then after that, they go and hear about somebody that was in the village and that sort of thing too. And he actually was not a nice guy with this nasty dog himself, temperament too. And he was living on this farm for a while, and then he disappears at roughly the same time. As the year when the deep kelp comes, during that time of the year when the deep kelp tends to come hot, and that sort of a thing too. And then we'll find out very early on, after that person died, he wanted to let his farm just rot away, but he had a lot of debt, and so it's sold. It's sold as an estate sale. And it's purchased by the other protagonist, the less common one, the one who's super smart, and he's just gotten married. He wants to sort of raise his wife and family, sort of rebuild it, and that sort of a thing too, and to some stuff. And so, that farm will be where the rest of the location is, and that sort of a thing too. And so basically what you'll find out here early on, to dig his bell, there is a sort of, when he starts to do some explorations of the property, these two, they'll find some stuff that enters the Cthulhu Mythos, and then there's supposed to be this guy of about a little bit. Let's dig as well. For you folks who do like this, I think it's a good, solid use of your time. All right, I think it's good. And that sort of thing too. Now, I don't know that the plot is about like 55 pages and more than 2 hours of a read. I don't know that plot is at that place, right? But I think that the descriptions are good, the ending is good, what it adds to the Cthulhu Mythos is good too. Right, I think it's good shape. So I definitely liked that. So I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10. For folks who's written in the 80s, a couple of decades into Lumley, he's definitely much more matured as an author, right? And that sort of thing. I think you'll enjoy it lots. Up there for you folks, and that is Diggins of Bell by Brian Lumley. For you folks, have you read it? If so, what did you think about it? Did you agree or disagree with my 8.5 out of 10? Happy to engage you with it further, whatever your thoughts are. In the comment below, I'm all up and down the block for you folks. Also, as a reminder, I'm just a fan, right? I'm not somebody who is a trained critic, right? I didn't study literature or English in college, none of that stuff, right? And so I'm not coming to you from a place of expertise, which means your opinions about it just follows mine. So I'm definitely interested in engaging with you. I know you'll want to talk about the plot from something like that's just a few decades old, but let's try to keep it, because you'll think it's right, but definitely keep it spoiler free, right? A lot of people may not have heard about this short story or Brian Lumley, right? I think you'll want to do that. Keep it good for them, right? And then also, I also do 3 of these older reviews a week of this stuff and this older CJ out too. And 3 genres that we cover in fantasy, science fiction, and horror too for you folks. All up and down the blocks. And check it all out for you. Folks, I think you'll enjoy that much. And then I also do older video game reviews on Wednesday, older serials from the Pulp Bear. Reviews, or sometimes from the 60s of Doctor Who stuff, you see, check that out too. And then you can also have some Monday tabletop RPG or war game reviews, so you check out this. And hopefully some of those 7 things were just the books, or just following along with Brian Lumley. But something like that will spark your calm imagination, and you will follow the channel. And if you do choose to do it, no pressure if you don't. Then please do all the YouTube stuff, like hit the button, like share, all that stuff. Alrighty, as you can tell from those 7 older things and finding them for you folks, is definitely a passion at this channel. Right? It's even where its name comes from. That's a quote by Jean Joubert, who says that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old stuff, right? And this is definitely some older stuff we might have forgotten about, right? In our passion for the new, right? The new novel, the new video game, the new movie, right? Sometimes I've forgotten that these things are standing on the shoulders of giants, right? So let's check out those giants, right? Not that these new things are bad by default or at all, right? They're not. But you get the idea. But you know, of Lovecraft, of Lumley, of August Derleth, of Clark Ashton Smith, like all these horror things are heavily influenced. So I think you'll enjoy that too. All right, and there you go. I want to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing it, right, and watching my videos, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right, and we're pulled in so many different directions too, right? So like you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate that so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.